UFC Fight Night Vegas 107, Blanchfield versus Barber just took place. I guess it took place, and I'm going to go through every single fight on the card, I guess, and I'm going to start with the early prelim opener and end with the main event. That's what would normally happen. However, this card was a little bit different. So we've got to talk about that main event, Erin Blanchfield versus Maycee Barber. Now, I know you guys are expecting a few things from me, but I'm going to be very serious about this breakdown. And this is a very serious topic, and you may have heard me laugh as I got serious there. But you need to get those jokes out of your system right now. And you need to stop laughing immediately. And we're going to be serious about this main event, because this isn't a topic to be joked about whatsoever. This is a very serious topic to discuss and break down in that main event. Erin Blanchfield, Maycee Barber. Now, stay with me here. We're being serious. The greatest women's MMA main event I've ever experienced. That was cinema. There will never be another women's There will never be another women's MMA main event that can compare to this. Good luck! That's how high you set the bar. That's how high the UFC have now set the standard on women's MMA main events. There will never be another one that compares. Hopefully there'll never be another one. But there definitely will never be another one that compares to this. Because this was the real deal. I have never been more overwhelmed with positive emotions and endorphins than I was after this main event of Erin Blanchfield versus Maycee Barber. So for those of you guys that don't know, Maycee Barber didn't walk out in the main event. Just didn't walk out. Been there the whole week. Didn't make weight. Missed weight. Showed up with fake tits. Each to their own. Seems like a worrying turn of a career choice for Maycee Barber, to be honest, because she's taking the... And I said this on Twitter. I said this after I found out that Maycee Barber couldn't make the walk. Erin Blanchfield was laced up, gloved up, ready to go. Ready to go out there for the main event. They were in their walkout positions. They had assaulted a walkout position or assigned a walkout position for Maycee Barber, and she does not show up to that walkout position. This was not hours before. This was not before the event even started, and they just let us know during the main event. They were literally waiting for Maycee Barber to get to the spot that she needed to be in order to make her walkout, and she just couldn't do it. So I said on Twitter, Maycee Barber gets momentum, becomes gooned over by MMA fans, starts being a whore on social media, gets fake tits, misses weight, dies before walkout. Now, she took the cursed road that 50% of mid-women's MMA fighters take, and she paid the price. And this is it. It serves Dana White right for putting this as a main event, Blanchfield versus Barber. I would say I hope this is a lesson to them. I hope this is a lesson to the UFC not to put these types of fights in main events. But Maycee Barber, even though Arman Tsarukyan will be punished beyond belief, there is a solid chance that Maycee Barber will be main eventing a fight night in the near future. This may even get rebooked to a fight night main event in the near future, because we just fucking have to see this one. Gamrot. Mateusz Gamrot. Just covert ops. You've never been violated so nonchalantly in your entire life. Mateusz Gamrot just committed the most nonchalant war crime we have ever seen in literally sneaking us with a Gamrot main event. Mateusz Gamrot just snuck one over on us, pulled the wool over our eyes. We didn't see it coming. He just fucking curveballed us with a This was a Gamrot main event all along. And I said it earlier on the card. I literally said earlier on the card, I tweeted out, because this card was awful. And there ain't many things to break down about it. But I said earlier on the card, time for the main event of this fight night card. And this was on the co-main event of Gamrot versus Klein, which of course became the main event. But at the time I didn't know. So I said, time for the main event of this fight night card, UFC Vegas 107. Gamrot versus Klein, 5 rounds, main event. I hear after this one, they're going to provoke 2 drunk bitches in the crowd to get into a scrap and broadcast it on television for some reason. We never got that second part of my tweet. But boy, were we close. They didn't even end up fighting. That's that. Didn't even walk out to the fight. Blanchfield waiting there to go, and Maycee Barber just didn't even go out there. So we're going to break down the card, I guess. And the rest of the card was so bad as well. I did terribly on picks, but I don't even care because it's so forgettable of a card. I just wanted it done. Couple fighters saved the day with some entertainment, but good Lord. Some of the other fighters on here. Anyway, Rayanne dos Santos versus Ardelean. So Ardelean, I saw the cheeks and I thought, she ain't training MMA. She's prioritizing other muscle groups. You know what I'm saying? And I went with Rayanne dos Santos. Turns out Ardelean is prime Roy Jones Jr. Just styles on Rayanne dos Santos. Absolutely pieces her up. Styles on her for 3 straight rounds. On another level. She showed levels out there. Ardelean, 10-8 or 10-6. Heaven forbid I mess up that record. 10-6. Now, no, 9-7. That was her record. 9-7 now moves on to 10-7. Very good job from Ardelean. Wow, what a performance. Bolaji, I mean, God. What a performance. Wins a 3-round striking match against Michael Aswell. I knew he was going to win. It was a short notice step-up opponent for Michael Aswell here. Bolaji was supposed to be on this card. I was actually going to pick against him, against Markel Medeiros. But we never got it. So Bolaji had a 3-round striking match with Michael Aswell. And it was a pretty competitive fight, to be honest with you. I know the commentary I heard was making it seem like Bolaji was just schooling him the entire time. And I did think that he won, but I also thought it was somewhat competitive. I thought Michael Aswell did better as the fight went on. So 29-28 across the board for Bolaji. Lost the 3rd round to a guy stepping in on short notice. Not a great look, but he won. Holobaugh, Jordan Leavitt. Jordan Leavitt took down Holobaugh a bunch of times immediately in the fight and submitted him out cold. Immediately. With a dash choke, I think it was. I don't even know what submission it was. But Jordan Leavitt got a 1st round submission with ease over Holobaugh. And of course got a performance bonus. Oh my God, Ardelean versus Rayanne dos Santos got a fight of the night bonus, and Dustin Jacoby didn't get a performance bonus. Dustin Jacoby didn't get a performance bonus that card because they had to make way. They had to make way for a fight of the night bonus going to Ardelean and Rayanne dos Santos. I mean, they got scrappy, but come on. What the actual fuck is that decision making? I thought Dustin Jacoby was the front runner for a performance bonus on this card. I don't care if someone else stuck their head into a guillotine. Jacoby is the only guy on the card who gave us any level of violence whatsoever. Jordan Leavitt wins by submission. Jafel, Filho, Allan, Nascimento. I picked Jafel, Filho. I thought his grappling was better and his wrestling was better. And it did look a lot better. He had the better submission attempt. He got the takedowns in the first place. He looked a little more comfortable on the feet. But Allan Nascimento kept reversing position on him, and that was the story of the fight. Allan Nascimento reversing position on Jafel Filho towards the second half of the rounds. Filho getting a takedown in the first place and then just ending up on bottom position in the third, losing that. But he won the first round. He had a good first round. He was doing good in the second round as well. Looked like he was on his way to out wrestling and out grappling in Allan Nascimento, but not to be. We move on. Zachary Reese versus Dusko Todorovic. Zachary Reese wins the fight. I thought he did win based on the second and third round. This was a pathetic fight from the two of them. It really was a pathetic fight. Dusko won the first round with his grappling. Not really much happened in that round either, to be honest with you. It was just sort of Dusko Todorovic working a guillotine on Zachary Reese over and over again and non-stop going for it. So therefore, I'm literally hair revealing now. So literally, like, I don't even know what I'm even saying now. I've lost all train of thought. Dusko was jumping on this guillotine attempt non-stop in the first round. Used it to get a lot of control time over Zachary Reese. Second and third round, Zachary Reese's takedown defense improved. Got his own takedown on Dusko towards the end. And just started out striking him barely on the feet in the second and third round. I mean, Dusko Todorovic, I thought he was going to have the advantage as the fight went on here. But he didn't even have that and had no output in the second or third round. It looked like a type of fight where it's like, oh, Dusko might put on a pace here and win this one as the fight goes on. But then it was just like, oh, wait, he's just thrown 16 strikes in round 2. That's that. Main card. We move on to another fight up the card, which was Ketlen, Vieira, Macy, Chiasson. Chiasson got laid on for 3 rounds. Looked like she could have done something in the first. She actually got a round. I don't know what round she got, in all honesty. But she got given a round by 2 of the judges. Maybe the third, because she was pouring it on with the last 30 seconds. But she didn't do that much. She just kept shooting takedowns and then pulling bottom position and laying there like a dumb bitch. We move on. Dustin Jacoby, Bruno Lopes. Okay, some violence on the card. That didn't get a performance bonus, by the way. Embarrassing from the UFC. Dustin Jacoby puts hands on Bruno Lopes. This was an expected win. Bruno Lopes, you know, he's on a win streak in the UFC. Well, not really. He won his Contender Series fight and then he won in the UFC after that. So he is, I guess you could say. But this was way too soon for him. Way too soon. He wins a decision against Magomed Gadziasulov. I know it's a good name sounding, but he's not really a great fighter. And Jacoby's a really good light heavyweight fighter. So he just went out there and put hands on Bruno Lopes early in this fight. Hurt him with a jab, I think it was. Then started going after him, but got caught up in the clinch. And then started beating him up in the clinch with uppercuts, right hooks around the guard, uppercuts, right hooks. Then when he saw that he had Bruno Lopes hurt, he just started swinging. Really bad technique, but he just got his punches there, you know? Like non-stop. Like all it takes is one little tip of a punch to touch on the chin of Bruno Lopes. And all of a sudden, he's going to go crumbling down. And that's what happened. He got wobbled up against a cage, wobbled before that, wobbled after that, sunk down a couple of times, tried to get back up, and then just got slept out cold by Dustin Jacoby, who got a brutal KO win, went for a finish, put it on the line, and didn't get a performance bonus for it because Rayanne dos Santos just needed that 50k for an amazing performance. 78 significant strikes over 3 rounds she landed. She just got beat up. But all good. There you go. We move on. Up the card to another fight. Ramiz Brahimaj versus Billy Ray Goff. Billy Ray Goff, big favourite here. Big favourite. I trusted in the favourite. I was going with Billy Ray Goff because Ramiz Brahimaj has lost to Court McGee and various other names, like being dominated by Themba Gorimbo. And it made me think that this guy might not all be that good at all. This guy might not be that good. So I'm with Billy Goff, who I thought had some level of potential as a prospect, and he made just some very bad errors. Standing guillotine choke, puts him out cold in round 1. Nasty finish for Ramiz Brahimaj. Both guys landed a knee to the body in the clinch or something. I don't even remember what they landed at range on the feet. I don't even think they even landed anything good on the range on the feet. Immediately ended up in the clinch. Ramiz got his back early. Got Billy Goff's back early, and Billy sort of escaped it, which is impressive to do. Round 1, getting your back taken, you're both dry. He survived it, and then he just kept putting his head into guillotine chokes. He went for a takedown, but I feel like he went for more than one takedown. Because I remember his head in a guillotineable position about 3 different times in the fight, and eventually he got a guillotine that he really wanted to be subbed by. So he just stuck his head into it and got subbed by Ramiz Brahimaj. I guess there with a guillotine, there's some kind of expectation that they might pull it. And then you'll sort of use the momentum of them pulling the guillotine to try and, oh, they pulled the guillotine, but I'll escape it and I'll end up on top in the takedown attempt. Which is what normally happens, right? But when Ramiz has that much space, he's just going to go for a standing guillotine and crowd you up against the cage. So he just standing guillotined Billy Goff in the first round, who just put his head in a guillotine. So, is what it is. Mateusz Gamrot versus Ludovit Klein. This is the only fight to break down. And it's a Mateusz Gamrot fight. Now, Gamrot clearly won this fight 30-27. And you know what? He could have made it a lot more boring in the third. And he did try and pour it on for some kind of finish. The first 2 rounds were very boring. They were Mateusz Gamrot rounds. He gets the takedown. He keeps dominant position. And I said this so many times, though. Gamrot gets shit on because he doesn't have great fun fights. Look at his fucking resume. How could you ever think that Klein would have any answer for him? I'm just going to go through some of the opponents that they've had. Gamrot and Ludovit Klein. Mateusz Gamrot, win over Klein. So, loses to Dan Hooker. Arguably could have won. Gets a fight of the night bonus for it. Arguably could have won that fight against Dan Hooker. Then you look at Ludovit Klein. Oh, he barely beat Roosevelt Roberts. You know? RDA is on Gamrot's resume. Then you look at Ludovit Klein, Thiago Moises. Then you got Rafael Fiziev for Gamrot. Regardless of the circumstances, AJ Cunningham for Ludovit Klein. Jalen Turner for Gamrot. Dariush. He lost by decision. Win over Armand Sarukian. He should have lost, but it's all good. Very close fight. Armand Sarukian, close decision. Carlos Diego Ferreira win. Like, he's got some solid wins now. And he's had solid comp. And he's proved that he can out-wrestle those guys. So I knew he would out-wrestle Ludovit Klein, who got submitted by Nate Landwehr at featherweight after gassing out at volume. Nate Landwehr got a takedown on him and started working him and got a submission. And finished him in the third round, I believe it was. Finished him in the third round. Jai Herbert was going to and throw with him in the grappling. I didn't like it. I didn't like a lot of the things that I saw. So I went with Mateusz Gamrot, and he just got stung in the first round. Nothing big, nothing that knocked him down, but something that was like, oh, Gamrot got stung. But then other than that, he just dominated. Dominated the whole fight. Took down Ludovit Klein. Missed some of the takedown attempts as the fight went on, but his early takedown entries were big. Kept getting the takedowns. Got to dominant position more than he normally does. And that's the event. I'm trying to break down this event. Round 3, he actually started dominating and ground and pounding. Towards the end of round 2, he started ground and pounding as well. And made it a bit more interesting and entertaining, but Gamrot wins. A drive-by surprise Gamrot main event. And he Gamrots it up and wins as the fight goes on. I thought Klein would win the first round. But this is how I saw the fight going. But actually, it was Gamrot that seemed pretty tired. But Klein just didn't have the pop in his shots anymore to hurt Gamrot. And Gamrot's tough, man. Gamrot's hard to put away. He got hit with a knee in the third round. But listen, I've said this before. Like, Gamrot's chinny. But when has Gamrot been finished? You know? Oh, Gamrot's chinny, he got dropped by so-and-so, but what happened? He got back up and he won. You know, most of the time. Got back up and he won, or got back up and he should have won. And then you look at Ludovit Klein and say, this guy's got so much power, nasty combinations. Look at the power in his shots and the finishing. Well, that wasn't a finish. That went to a decision for Klein. So it was just a sort of obvious one there. But Gamrot gets a win. I don't know what's next for him. He called out Benoit Saint-Denis. Silly move. Doesn't deserve it. But he would win easily, so that might be why he did it. Called out Pimlet. That's a good one. Didn't call out Arman. I think he should have done that and said, Arman Sorokan, I beat you before, now fight again. He should have done this whole speech about how he should fight Arman again because he beat him before and he knows that Gaethje wants Pimlet. When you're calling someone out in a post-fight speech, you should act under the condition that fights are made that aren't, that mean that you have to fight Armand Sarukian. You almost ruin any other matchups in that way. If Gamrot would have got on there and said, I know that Gaethje fighting Pimlet, so I want Arman next, Arman Kurva, let's go! And started going at Arman, then he probably would have got that matchup and got a title shot next, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Mateusz Gamrot wins. Maycee Barber doesn't even fucking walk out. But isn't that crazy, though? I told you about this. With women's MMA fighters, there is a temptation where they start getting a lot of that attention from MMA fans, where they're like, MMA fan might notice that they have an ass, or like have any tits whatsoever, or aren't completely like disfigured and like grotesque in the face, and then the MMA fans start like glazing them and overrating them. And then I actually saw this from Maycee Barber. I don't know what happened before the walkout, and I'm not going to put this all on that, but started getting a bit crazy on social media. Like, night and day comparison to what she used to post on social media. Gets a set of fake tits. Misses weight. The fight after she gets those fake tits. Dies before the walkout. You can't take your career seriously if you get fake tits as a women's MMA fighter. You just can't do it. You're changing your autonomy. You're changing what's going on, the feel, the weight cut, the everything. You're making a weight cut more difficult for yourself. The most difficult thing in the sport. Why? Because you're not that focused on your career. You got a bit of attention, and here we go. So I said OnlyFans might drop within the week. But we'll see. I don't know. I feel like women getting fake tits. Like, when Joanna and Jacek got those tits, I was like, oh, she's done. She's not going to beat Zhang Weili the second time. It's over. She's not coming back from this. As soon as I saw that Joanna had them, I was like, oh, it's over. It's like when a male fighter gets veneers. It's a worry. It is. You know? See you later. Goodbye, Toodle Pip. I did bad on picks, but what an amazing UFC fight card to come back to. Truly riveting stuff. The fighters won't even show up to the fucking events, let alone the crowd. It's a good thing it was in the Apex, though, right? I feel like we've been having this a lot more often than not. But it is a very good thing that this was in the Apex, because if it was in a crowded arena, no one would have showed up for this shit. This was one of the worst cards I've ever sat for in my entire fucking life. See you later. Goodbye.